At the count of 3, we will sing or have the national anthem. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Can we be seated, please? See the Deputy Governor of Nasarawa State, the Honorable Minister of Information, the Honorable Speaker, Nasarawa State House of Assembly, and principal officers and members of the State House of Assembly, the Honorable Chief Judge of Nasarawa State and other Superior Court judges here present, members of the National Assembly here present, the Special Advisor to Mr. President on Media and Documentation, members of the Nasarawa State Executive Council, the Secretary to Government and Head of Service, Nasarawa State, permanent secretaries, the President of NUJ, NCWS, Ratao, and civil society groups here present, directors in the federal ministries and members of the good governance team, prominent sons and daughters of Nasarawa State, distinguished invited guests, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome to the good people of Nasarawa State and the teeming viewers out there. We are gathered here today at the Townhall Conference Hotel, Lafia, for the Citizens Forum for Nasarawa State. As you are already aware, the organization of an interactive town hall meeting tagged Citizens Forum is one aspect of the National Good Governance Tour. It is a non-political forum. It is meant to complement visits to project sites and is designed to provide a forum for discussion, to provide a forum for discussion with stakeholders on the progress that the government at federal and state levels are making in the implementation of their policies and programs. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, this forum is being transmitted live on the national television, radio networks, and social media. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we commence this Citizens Forum, may we call on God through prayers to intercede on our behalf. So at this stage, may I call on the Secretary GNI, Alhaji Zakari Yakubu, to please come forward and lead us in the opening prayers, the Muslim way, while the Governor's Advisor on Religious Affairs, Labaran Maku Shama, would also lead us in the opening prayers, the Christian way. Alhaji Zakari Yakubu.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. In the name of Allah, the merciful, the most beneficent. We are glad today we are witnessing an innovation in the governance of Nigeria. That is, our government wants to show us what it is doing for us. And this encompasses the efforts being made by state governments and even local governments. This innovation, oh God, we believe, springs from the plan of transformation of the new administration in this country. We thank you for imbibing these ideas into the heads of our leaders. We also want to show our gratitude not only to those who are involved in this touring, but also the organizers at state level. We are able to see at first instance what even our government at state level is doing as a complement to the effort of the government itself in publicizing its activities. We thank you, oh Lord, for giving us the leaders that care. We are also delighted that this activity and this effort is non-political. It joins the effort of the state and the federal government, regardless of whether they belong to the same party or not. We are grateful, God, that you have given us this foresight. May God help those who are doing this job, and let us bear our mind to support the government of the day wherever we find ourselves. So we thank you, oh Lord. God bless our leaders at whatever they perform their duties. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Fatiha.
Amen. I believe those of you who are not here and those of you who are here with BlackBerry, with whatever social media networks, you'll be able to reach us. So once more, thank you. So distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I will now invite the Honorable Commissioner for Information and Orientation, Nasarawa State, in the person of Mrs. Victoria Titi Monde, to please come forward and give us the welcome address. Honorable Commissioner Information, Nasarawa State.
His Excellency Umaru Tanko Al-Makura, Governor of Nasarawa State, the Honorable Minister of Information, Mr. Labaran Maku, the Honorable Speaker, Nasarawa State House of Assembly, principal officers and members of the State Assembly, the Honorable Chief Judge, Nasarawa State, and other Superior Court judges, members of the National Assembly present, Special Advisor to Mr. President on Media and Documentation, members of the Executive Council, SSG and the head of civil service, permanent secretaries, both federal and state, presidents of NUJ, NCWS, Ratau, and civil society groups, directors in federal service, and members of good governance tour team, prominent sons and daughters of Nasarawa State, distinguished invited guests, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen. It is my pleasure to welcome home the Honorable Minister of Information, our own son, Mr. Labaran Maku, who is on a working visit in continuation of the Good Governance Tour of States, which kick-started in North Central Zone, starting with the Federal Capital Territory, FCT Abuja, over a month ago. As an illustrious son of the state, a former Commissioner of Information and Deputy Governor, Nasarawa State, the Honorable Minister is at home, and I am sure he must have met so many acquaintances that he missed over a long time. Indeed, we are happy to host the Honorable Minister and his entourage on this historic tour, which could not have come at a better time than now. Let me therefore commend the Federal Ministry of Information for initiating the National Good Governance Tour. There is no doubt that the outing affords government the opportunity to appraise its performance in terms of project implementation, in questions, and contribute ideas for the benefit of the government as we strive to achieve our socio-economic development objectives. In the last 3 days that the National Good Governance team has been in the state, various projects undertaken by the federal and the state governments have been inspected. This is with a view to improving the living standard of our people. We appreciate the pains journalists have taken to report our programs and projects. We also appreciate the efforts by representatives of the civil society groups to traverse our state. They have seen, they have heard, and even felt and shared with people of Nasarawa State the developmental challenges of our young state. As the tour draws to a close, I feel fulfilled as the spokesperson of the administration to state that the modest efforts made by our admirable Governor Almakura within a short time in office have been showcased for the world to see and assess. Similarly, the challenges being faced are enormous, but we are determined to make the state better than we met it. I wish to use this auspicious occasion to appreciate the federal government for citing and executing projects in the state. However, I join His Excellency, the Governor, and other citizens to say that more can still be done, considering that we play host to the bulk of the population of workers and their families, as well as other Nigerians operating in Abuja as a gateway to state. Our amenities are overstretched. There is therefore the need for the federal might to become more visible in the state. Your Excellency, Honorable Minister, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, as the tour rounds up with this town hall meeting, I enjoy those who have the privilege to ask questions or make contributions. Do so with sincerity of purpose. This way, our state and country will be transformed and a better future assured for generations yet unborn. Thank you very much.
The Honorable Commissioner of Information, Nasarawa State, for the welcome address. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we will have an interlude, and a song by Alheri Dogara would now be played, and the title is Nigeria is the Land of Peace, and it's just going to be for 2 minutes. Alheri.
Honorable Minister for Information, all other protocols extended and respectively observed. Your Excellency, we have been here in the last couple of days to inspect projects executed by both federal and state governments under the aegis of good governance law. And I want to say that from what we saw, well, all hope are not lost. Democracy is on course. A lot has been achieved, and I think a lot more are needed to be done. Your Excellency, I want to observe on a very sad note the manner contracts have been abandoned in Nigeria by the federal government. Contractors are giving contracts and they abandon it without anybody asking questions. Maybe because those in government are actually the contractors, but I think that is corruption, which I think we have been, NUJ have been in the forefront of. And that is why we at the NUJ are emphasizing the need for the 3 tiers of government to support the Freedom of Information Act, so that we not only expose these people who have posed, a kind of a cog in the wheel of progress in this country, but tear their yash so that everybody will know them. Your Excellency, I want to commend the initiative of the Governor of Nasarawa State, Labaran Maku, for his initiative to wrap up all the projects executed by his previous government before starting a new one. I think that is what we should encourage. There's no point. there's no point to abandon contracts simply because somebody started it. I mean, government, they say, is a continuous thing. And I believe whoever comes should be able to take off from where the predecessor, I mean, the previous government stopped. And that will be better for us, and I think it will be better for Nigerians. So that once more, let us continue to have faith in democracy. I want to thank everybody.
Not Matthias O'Malley for the goodwill message. May I now invite the representative of the President of Ratau, Mr. S.O. Jethro, to please come forward and give us a goodwill message.
The Executive Governor of Nasarawa State, Moro Tanko Almakura, the workaholic minister, who also doubles as His Excellency and Honorable, because he's His Excellency as a former Deputy Governor of this state, and is Honorable as a Honorable Minister of Information in the Federal Republic. Your Excellency, I want to say that as we arrived this place and on our meeting with you, and as you stated your predicament, we believe that what we have seen for now, it is a good thing, because as my colleagues have just said, we have witnessed a lot of abandoned projects in this nation, and we don't want that to continue. And now that you are completing the abandoned project, we equally want you to initiate your own project as soon as possible so that it will complement the development of this state. Your Excellency, I want to thank you very much. As Ratau, I want to thank you because of your approval for the digitization of Nasarawa State Broadcasting Corporation. But I equally want to say here, Your Excellency, that you cannot just have the equipment without people operating this equipment. You should have people who are hungry operating this equipment. The equipment will not last. I want to say that we have an approval by the National Salaries and Wages Commission, which our honorable ministers here significantly work towards the approving this allowance for the workers in both radio and, I believe, and I was told by my people here, that this approval has equally been sent to His Excellency. We want His Excellency to use this auspicious occasion to announce to the workers in both culture and radio here that he has approved of it. Your Excellency, I equally want to say that we went to College of Education yesterday, and I want to tell you that apart from the ETF project in that place, all other buildings that we saw in that place need a facelift. Your Excellency, these are going to be teachers in primary school. And if the environment in which they themselves are learning is not conducive, it won't be nice for them to come to primary school and teach. Equally, sir, I equally want to mention this Lafia Akwanga Road. This road is very germane and very important to the people of Nigeria. This road, we have lost a lot of people along this road. I was even told that this road is named, many have gone. And this road, we are surprised that it's been awarded to somebody who's supposed to be giving contract for Feeders Road, not that critical road in this nation. So we are calling for the federal government to remove that contractor who is on that side for now and place a better contractor to handle that road. Your Excellency, I want to thank you because of the time that the Almighty God will continue to guide each and every one of us and give us the privilege to be able to develop this nation. I was at a program last week and the Honorable Minister was there, and that is the National Assembly breakfast prayer, and the keynote speaker told us there that in Singapore, that you should cheat on your wife or you cheat on your spouse, that you are going to be sacked from your work. And that is to say, if you are cheating on your spouse, you are equally going to cheat on the government. So as such, we pray that those who are going to be leaders of this nation, that we make it develop as expected, God will provide them for us in Jesus' name.
And we actually started seeing projects, I think, on a Thursday. I am particularly happy that His Excellency the Governor has continued from where the others stopped. I have seen projects, I have seen roads that are beautifully constructed with drainages. We were also informed by His Excellency that allocations coming to the state is something that is meager. I want to advise that we should not continue to rely on the federal government allocation, but the state should seek ways of generating revenue internally. Because I want to believe that if revenue is generated internally, the state government will have more funds to do more. I am also very, very impressed with the visible presence of the federal government in Nasarawa State. We have seen the Federal University, we have seen roads, we've seen hospitals. We know that the federal government is doing a lot, and we've even seen the CBN building, which by the time it's completed will generate employment for the teeming youths of Nasarawa State. We've also confirmed that while the project of CBN is still going on, a lot of citizens of Nasarawa State are being employed on a daily basis on that site, and they are being paid, and this translates to poverty alleviation. I am really impressed with that. I also want to commend the federal government on what we have seen them doing on ground here. But I want to quickly add, just like the past speakers have said, that road that is called or branded Many Have Gone is a strategic road. I happen to come from Cross River State, and I ply that road whenever I'm going back home. There is no time I pass that road that I don't see accidents. And to put a contractor that is not competent to work on that road is not acceptable. So we want to call on the federal government, in as much as you are indigenizing and giving contracts to indigenous contractors, let us also be sure that whoever we are giving contracts to will certainly deliver as at when due, so that we alleviate the problems and sufferings of the Nigerian people. God bless Nigeria.
His Excellencies here present, the Speaker and members of House of Assembly here present, the Royal Fathers, my Women National Council of Women Societies and other affiliate organizations here present, the Governor's ESCO, the media, the security, without you won't be heard. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to appreciate the Honorable Minister for information for co-opting National Council of Women Societies in this good governance tour. National Council of Women Societies is the umbrella body of all women groups in this country, and we have presence in all the 36 states, FCT, including FCT and local governments, and we have 250 affiliates under us, which we are governed by our constitution. His Excellency, sir, we are here in your state. We've seen the good works you've done. I was overwhelmed when we visited some sites and we saw the completion of the other abandoned projects. So we're very proud of you. First and foremost, I'm standing here speaking for the voice of women. we want to sympathize with you over the flood incidents, including the tragic measures that Mr. President followed to give the hopeless women and hopeless people assurance to have faith that the victims will regain their properties and lives. I'm standing here on behalf of Nigerian women, sir. His Excellency, when we are going around the states, I found out with some few women that most women are few in governance. And because of the First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria has been going around advocating for 35%, I plead with you, sir, to put more women on seats. We are proud of Mr. President. He has given us 35% plus one arm of government. And I know that by the time he finishes his board appointments and parastatals, we'll get 50% like Rwanda and South Africa. Mr. President did not stop at that for women. He has given us a huge budget that will step down to the rural women to improve their lives. We are proud of Mr. President and we support his transformation agenda. His Excellency, sir, as an adopted daughter of Nasarawa State, which you know, I would plead on behalf of my sisters and mothers so that you can equally step down Mr. President's gender sensitivity, giving us 33% in your state. And I also plead against, since the Speaker is here and members of House of Assembly, to please pass into bill the elimination on all forms of discrimination against women. That will give women a good start. Secondly, I know that most women are not empowered. If we give the office of the First Ladies a chance, or if you co-opt them in the budget, I know that more women will be empowered, and when it comes to elective positions, we'll get more seats. Sir, I don't have much to say than to please, I hand over my women and the First Lady's office onto you. Thank you and God bless you all.
We thank the National President of the Women's Societies for the good will message. So, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, as we go on and as time permits us, we will continue to take goodwill messages. But at this stage, I will now invite the Honorable Minister of Information, Mr. Labaran Maku, to please come forward and give us an opening remarks. Honorable Minister of Information.
The Executive Governor of Nasarawa State, Alhaji Tanko Umaru Al-Makura. The Right Honorable Speaker, Nasarawa State House of Assembly, ably represented here today by the Right Honorable Deputy Speaker of the House of Assembly. My sister, the Honorable Commissioner for Information, Nasarawa State, Mrs. Victoria Monde, other members of Nasarawa State Executive Council who have been working with me in the last 2 days, the Secretary to the Government of Nasarawa State, my brother, Mala Hamza Elayo, Enyo, the Head of Service of Nasarawa State, distinguished elders of Nasarawa State who have come from all parts of the state to be part of this very important citizens forum to crown the good governance visit to our state. I want to particularly recognize my brother, the member of House of Representatives, Honorable Shak, and other members of the National Assembly who are here with us. My brothers and sisters from Nasarawa State, Your Excellency, I am here leading a large team which is indeed made up of members of civil society and international and local media reporters, essentially. But there are other members of the team, especially leaders of civil society organizations. We are here also accompanied by the Special Advisor to Mr. President on Documentation, who has already been introduced to you, and the Special Assistant to the President on Media Affairs. Your Excellency, let me, on behalf of the National Good Governance Tour, express our gratitude to you and to the government and people of Nasarawa State for the warm reception we have received since we entered Nasarawa State. This is how it should be. Nasarawa State is known for its hospitality, and also we are here, we are home. And I am really very grateful. The cultural troupe was on hand at the border with Benue to entertain us. Let me thank them for the great job they continue to do for our people. Your Excellency, let me tell our people why we are here. The National Good Governance Tour was designed by the federal government and all the 36 governors, and of course the local governments. It is not a federal government project. It is indeed the project of all the 3 tiers of government in Nigeria. When the program was designed by my ministry in partnership with the Minister of National Planning, Dr. Shamsudi Osman, and indeed the Special Advisor to the President on Performance Monitoring, Professor Monye, we took this program to the National Economic Council, where all the governors are represented. You were not in council that day, but His Excellency the Deputy Governor, Mr. Damishuluka, was present. We explained the purpose of this tour, and all the governors accepted that this tour is very important for our democracy. Having accepted, we sat with the governors under the auspices of the Nigerian Governors Forum to redesign the final phase of the program, where the governors brought in their inputs, and after we accepted, we then agree on the modalities for the tour. First of all, this tour is not partisan. It is not about ANPP. It is not about Labour Party. It is not about CPC. It is not about ACN. Neither is it about PDP or any political party. This is a non-partisan tour made up of professionals who are going around under the auspices of all the 3 tiers of government to assess the progress that governments are making at all levels to meet the needs and aspirations of the people. All of us, the political class, have accepted that sometimes we can put our quarrels aside, because what are we quarreling about? We're always quarreling about development. We can put aside our differences and discuss the progress we are making so that our people can have hope. It is not always that we have to behave as if we are facing another election. All over the world, when elections are over, we return to the timetable of development. I am in politics for development. And that is why we'll always go out to ensure that all of us who are given responsibilities at the executive, the legislative, and appointing positions, we must do our best to meet the aspirations of the people. So the tour is neutral and it is factual. Whatever we do can be contradicted. People will see it. The second reason for the tour is that we notice that even though we have been in a democracy for 13 years, the attitude of our people towards democracy is still a challenge. When you open the pages of newspapers or listen to radio, what is dominant as news is quarrels between personalities, not issues related to development. Now, as Minister of Information, I believe there is a need for this attitude to change. We must bring our people back to the issue of how to make progress to meet their aspirations. So this tour is aimed at bringing the conversation from partisan politics and quarrels between individual politicians back to issues of development. The third reason for the tour is that we believe there is a need for peer mechanism, peer review. The mere fact that we have agreed to go out and assess ourselves, it means that all of us will work harder. Because wherever we go, everybody is also doing everything to prove the kind of work they are doing. So we believe this tour will also hold people to account, whether they are contractors at government project site, or officials who are supervising projects, or elected or appointed officials. All of us will sit up to do our job properly. Also, this tour is going to lead to healthy competition among all those who are responsible for leadership. So we are going to go around the entire country, and for the places we have visited so far, we have seen and everybody has confessed that this is indeed a very good initiative by all of us to ensure that our democracy is targeted at development. So we're in Nasarawa State and we have spent 2 days now, Your Excellency. When we came, we paid you a courtesy call, which is the traditional thing for us to do, to listen to you and what you feel, because you are wearing the shoes so you know where it pinches. So we came to you and you gave us a rundown of what your circumstances have been and the challenges you face and what you have been able to do for your people. Having listened to you, we have been out in the field with our commissioners, with all the members of the team. We have gone to project sites where your administration is putting in effort to develop the state. You told us clearly that you have a challenge of revenue, and what you have done as governor is to focus on the maintenance of existing infrastructure, the completion of existing projects, and do new things that resources will permit you to do to lay a sound foundation for the development of Nasarawa State. With this in mind, we went to some key project sites which have been isolated for us to visit. The first place we visited was the School of Nursing. Now the School of Nursing, which is along Shendam Road, has been ongoing for quite a while. I was here when the foundation for the site was laid. Now, you have told us you have been able to move the students physically from the temporary site along Lafia Obi Road to the School of Nursing. We went there, we saw the school, we saw the facilities and the students also in their lecture rooms. So that one was seen. From there, we came to the House of Assembly. The Commissioner for Works told us you inherited the House of Assembly at completion stage, but the place was not furnished, and also there were debts owed the contractor. So your administration took it upon yourself to furnish the House of Assembly and also to ensure that all the members are comfortably doing their work in the premises of the House. We went there and we saw it. You have also said you paid some debt to the contractor, and there are still outstanding debts that are yet to be paid. From the House of Assembly, we visited some roads you are doing in the state capital. You told us you have so far awarded contracts for the execution of 27 kilometers of asphalted road within Lafia and also its environs. 22 kilometers of those roads are within Lafia. We visited the road between the government house and the Lafia Hotel, and we saw it. We also saw the road leading from Specialist Hospital down to this Jos Road, and of course the one that goes right into the GRA, and it exists through close to the Minister of Justice back to the main road. We saw the one leading from Zisandaji channels back down to the south of Lafia. And of course, there's another road going to Kurucho, although it's not, you have challenges with the contractor, but the road has gone a certain distance. And then while we were in Akwanga, we also saw the road you are doing at Akwanga, the Mbugabme road, and another one through the GRA. Now, those roads, all the members of the team saw them. Now, we went to MBS, started and completed it, but it's 2001, 2002 to now. Every institution will need renewal. So we've been there, and your Commissioner for Information as well as the GM NBS explained to us the fact that you have awarded contract to renew the transmission infrastructure as well as the entire equipment within the NBS as part of the digitization program of the federal government, which is between now and 2015. We went into NBS, we saw the work going on to reposition the structures for the new equipment, while your GM said the equipment have already, some of them have already arrived and they will be installed. Now, we have been able to also visit, when we went to Karu, we saw the former cultural center which was built. You have refocused and rehabilitated it to provide the natural development platform, which will be like the ages, the natural geographical system, which will help for town planning and urban planning. Your people aside explained to us, and we saw the renovation of the structure is virtually completed, and they said they are posing now to bring in the equipment which will be installed there. The idea is to plan the urban area of Karu for additional revenue, and to plan also the capital here in Lafia and other local governments. So we saw the work that was going on there at the center. Now, we have been here for 2 days, and Your Excellency, let me say that we have seen your initiative, and we also saw the new traffic lights in strategic junctures of the state to moderate traffic and also to bring about greater safety within Lafia metropolis. You also told us about your own initiative in the area of education, in the area of agriculture, in the area of winning investors into Nasarawa State. And let me say that we know that even if we stay here for quite a number of days, we cannot visit conceivably every project in Nasarawa State. But we have had a bird-eye view of what you are doing and what you intend to do for the people of Nasarawa State. We have not been able, unfortunately, because of time constraint, to visit a primary school or a secondary school to see the level of work you are doing at the level of primary education and the level of secondary education. But we believe that Nasarawa State's first priority must be education. And I know you told us that following releases by the Universal Basic Education Board, the Nasarawa State Primary Education Board is working to build, to reconstruct and renovate some schools across the state. That is how it should be. We expect that education should be your #1 priority, because we're a rural state. And education, by education, we actually mean primary education first. Because unless you reposition primary education, you can't get it right at other levels of education. And wherever I have gone, I have tried to explain to governors, please focus on primary education, focus on secondary education. If you focus at these two areas, you recreate the school environment, you discipline your teachers, you improve educational administration and materials for learning and teaching. Then our pupils will be like we used to do in those days. Because all of us here, most of us went to public primary schools and public secondary schools. There were no so-called modern nursery schools and primary schools we see now. And today we are able to compete with anybody in the world because we are giving sound education. So we believe that there is a need for you to try to work on this to make sure that you reposition the educational infrastructure. For agriculture, we have not been able to visit a specific project, but we believe that there is no government in Nasarawa State that will not make agriculture a target, because our state is naturally an agricultural state. And I believe that for us as a state, I'm sure you are going to touch on some of those places and some of those sectors we have not been able to see because of time constraint. Now, like I said, this tour is not about awarding marks to any government. It is about all of us assessing ourselves. It's not about awarding marks to Governor A or B. No, it is about because the challenges may differ from place to place. So we simply go around to look at what we are doing, to share it, and some of the experiences we will also still find opportunity to share with you, which will also help in repositioning your policies in some key areas for greater service delivery. Now, let me call on our people in Nasarawa State, because I know governance is a process that all of us must rise to the occasion and help in whatever way is possible. Because if we don't work together, then development is going to be very difficult for a rural state like Nasarawa. So I've always appealed on the need for us to cooperate for development. It's very, very important for me. Now, Your Excellency, in the last 2 days, we also went to see what the federal government is doing. We saw one project of local government. We didn't enter. We saw a road being constructed by the chairman of KP local government. I think it's wise to mention it. He came to the roadside to receive us, and we saw a road that was making across the secretariat in KP. We saw it, and he was also renovating one structure at the KP local government secretariat. So I should mention that so that other chairmen and everybody, and I know many are doing something, but we are not able to go there. So it will be important to mention that as a third tier of government. Your commissioner also told us you are planning to build 3 kilometers of road in every local government. 3 kilometers, which will be very, very good, because if you do that, you are going to open up the rural local government headquarters for development, because development follows the road. So once you are able to do that in all the 13 local government areas, and maybe development areas if revenue allows you, it is going to help in creating the enabling environment for development to spread out, and it will also halt the rural-urban drift, which is important for us as a state. Now, part of our visit also is to monitor what the federal government is doing. Your Excellency, you are the governor of the state, and I know that all of us here will see that Nasarawa State at creation didn't have quite a lot of federal support. Even the grant that every state used to get, we were denied. We never got that take-off grant. And I'm still hoping that all the states that were created along Nasarawa will come together and pursue that grant until we get it. It will help all of us to expedite action in the process of development. But I must say that for the period of the last 2 years that I've been in the Federal Executive Council, I have tried my best in partnership with colleagues at the Federal Executive Council to win more projects for Nasarawa State. Because without huge federal intervention in Nasarawa State, local resources here may not be able to reposition this state to a level of transformation. And let me say here that my boss, President Goodluck Jonathan, has been very, very generous to this state. And in the last 2 years he has been in power, and even before then, we have had significant federal projects allocated to Nasarawa State. Now, we visited some key projects. One of the most important roads in the state, 84 kilometers from Lafia to Away, we awarded it and announced it after the Federal Executive Council. Now, that road so far is now 56 kilometers motorable, and contractors are working to make the rest of the road from Odebu Alago up to Lafia motorable. From Away to Obi, virtually now people are moving very fast now and enjoying themselves. But let me warn you, take it easy, because we want you alive. So that road is going on. I commend the contractor, is doing a good job. Now there is a second road that we are also making here, the road from Lafia to Doma, which is being financed by the federal government and the World Bank. Now we went to the road, it's about 75% completed now. The last sections are the key culverts along that road, and the contractors assure us that early next year they will exit from the Lafia Doma road. We are happy with the progress of work along that road. We also went to Doma Dam, because in the area of agriculture, the federal government is rehabilitating the entire irrigation infrastructure of Doma Dam. They have already repaired 5 of the 6 pumps there, and there's only 1 pump which they are going to complete between now and December. Once they complete it, there will be 2,000 hectares of land available in Doma for art growers from January. The progress is to ensure that we harness the Doma Dam to promote rice production, and this program is being done through the SHORE program of the federal government. Now, within this zone, we are also doing quite a number of projects. I'll mention some key projects. Within Lafia town, the federal government is building a federal secretariat, which will be a 3-story building. And the secretariat is awarded at a cost of 2.23 billion naira. We went there, work was delayed, but they have, because of land acquisition. But now they have finished the foundation, virtually dug out the foundations, and they gave us the hope that that work will go steadily because we don't owe them money. It is they who have to amortize some of the money that's already been paid to them. Now also, with that completion, all federal infrastructures in Lafia will have a place to reside, and also our people are going to get more jobs working at the federal secretariat. Now the Central Bank of Nigeria has located one of its best modern offices in Lafia. It is 6.5 billion naira. We went there, they have finished the underground structures, they are now taking off. And the contractors reassured us that that contract is not any problem of money, but materials are being imported from abroad. They expected to deliver on time. So the CBN, which is very good for us because our vans have to go to Makodi to bring money here. So that is going to change once the CBN completes its own structures. Now, perhaps the most important intervention in the state is the federal university. Now, we were able to get a federal university for Nasarawa State. And let me thank the state government for giving the temporary site to the university. Because the former secretariat has been given to the university, and they appreciate it, we're all appreciative. Now, they have restructured the place and the university has taken off. You have also allocated land along Lafia, Mararaba, Agiragu Road, and the federal government is already processing contract for the construction of the permanent site. I've gone to the university. They have started winning prizes in national competitions, in fine arts and other areas. We are very pleased. Now that university is the greatest gift to us because it will serve us in perpetuity. So we will need the cooperation of the state and the federal government for the university to remain where it is. Now, let me say that in terms of infrastructure, there are roads that we went, federal roads, and I can tell you we were not happy. And the road from Akwanga to Nasarawa is not a new road. It was accepted in 2001 when President Obasanjo visited here, and the Aregon made an appeal for that road to be realigned to save lives. But somehow, the contract was not awarded until 2009. But between 2009 and now, we are all citizens of this state. That road has not made the progress that it deserves. We have spoken to the contractor. All of us expressed our lack of happiness. He told us he was paid just recently in June by the federal government. So we told him to get back to site, and we are going to report the feelings of the people of this state back to the Federal Ministry of Works on that realignment. And the realignment is just 6 kilometers, and it shouldn't take more than this period to be completed. So your feelings on that road are also our feelings. That is why we are here, to make sure that it is done. Your Excellency, we are doing a huge project at Loko, Oweto. That project runs into several billions of naira. We are building the Oweto local bridge, and we are resurfacing also the road reconstructing the road from Nasarawa to Loco, and that road is going to penetrate at Otuko and go right down to South-South. We visited the first phase from Otuko to Oweto. We have been unable to go to Loco because of the flood. The flood was so much that it interrupted the construction work at the bridge. But now that they are out, we will be going back there at a convenience to see progress on that road. It's a very, very strategic road for the people of the state. And in power, sir, we have a problem I want to mention to you. We awarded a contract to a company here for the construction of a power substation in Lafia. We paid the contractor 30% mobilization. But since the contract was awarded, the contractor has not been able to start work because the issue of surrendering the land to them. Now, let me mention this question of land here. We went to Benue State. There are several federal projects that are also frustrated because of lack of land. Now, this substation for Lafia, I came confidently thinking maybe the job has already been completed. Because in all the other areas, they have already built all the substations that were awarded at the same time with Lafia. Your Excellency, let me call upon you and our people. Please, if we have a federal project, it is our project. Power is crucial for the people of Nasarawa State. And the purpose of the substation in Lafia is to relieve us from any problem of unstable power supply in the state capital. Let me appeal for the state government to expedite action so that the community will surrender the land, and then the contractor has been going about with 30% of the money. So I believe it's important to start that work as quickly as possible. But the power station at Nyanya, Mararaba has been completed. That one is built by World Bank in partnership with the federal government. Now, that is what is stabilizing power now in Nyanya, Mararaba, up to Masaka. Now, we went there yesterday. We were conducted around the huge infrastructure there. It is the same thing you have in Kepi in Akwanga. So we believe with that kind of stability, if we complete the substation in Lafia, Nasarawa State is going to have stable power supply. And that is what we want for the development of this state. We have made intervention in schools. The first intervention is at ATC Akwanga, ETF programs. We are building quite a number of structures at College of Education Akwanga, at the Nasarawa State University in Kefi, and other higher institutions in the state. Now, the Tertiary Education Trust Fund has been supporting our state significantly, and we believe our state needs more support. We will still continue to press ahead for more funding for Nasarawa State.